Welcome back. Today we're talking about Pursuit United's new blended bourbon, 108 proof. How will it stack up on the channel? Stay tuned and find out. Welcome back. Today we're talking about Pursuit United's blended whiskey bourbon, 108 proof. This is Pursuit United had their own bourbon series. They're a podcast, and they do have a YouTube channel. And they decided to get into bourbon a few years back. But this one changes the blend slightly. They swap out Bardstown for an MGB component, and they use Finger Lake Distilling out of New York for similar tastes and notes, but they trade the malted barley for a cherry smoked barley. So that's going to be interesting to taste on that. Then they take and they split it into two containers where one's finished in toasted American oak barrels, and then the other's with a French oak. Then they separately finish the whiskeys where they're blended together to create the product that's before us. This one here is the batch is 11cc. The ones I've had before is their first batch. I think I had the bourbon, and then I had the rye and the bourbon from, I think it was batch 7cc. So I'm really curious to see how this one plays out. You can pick this up. I think you can still find this. I think I paid $75 for this. This is right off the rip neck pour. So I'm kind of curious to see after, a little bit how it opens up, but it smells incredible. I can smell it sitting here. This is also blended from Tennessee whiskey. It's 8% corn, 10% rye, 10% malted barley. Then, like I said, the Finger Lakes Distilling is a 70% corn, 20% rye, 10% cherry smoked barley. I said that component right there, that's really tweaking my interest. The last is MGP, of course, we know now, was Ross and Squibb out of Indiana. And that's 60% corn, 36% rye, 4% malted barley. So let's get into the nose. Man, that smells really good. It has like an oakiness. Of course, you're going to always hear that. A clove and a black pepper. It also has like a faint... Have you ever had fresh maple syrup? I live here in Michigan, so that's readily available. And when you have it warmed up and it kind of hits your nose, it has a little container. It smells like that. It just has that nice wafting nose. It just smells really pleasant. I guess that's the best word for it. So let's get into the taste. Oh, that's got a little bit of heat to it. A little bit of pepper. Like a nutty note, like a clove. A little bit of Kentucky. And I'm not talking a little bit of hog, and it's just starting to hit right here, and it's just starting to slightly blossom out. Not like burning, but just a nice warming. This would be great. I bet this would be great in a hot toddy or sitting at a fire in the wintertime, because it has that almost like a fall, late fall, Christmassy feel to it. I really like it. Now I'm getting like a graham cracker. That spice, boy, it hits you right mid-palate on the back. You can still feel it right in here. It's got a bit of a good kick to it. And this is it's a really creamy, rich coating mouthfeel. It doesn't have a thin like your lower proofs. This being 108, it's definitely got that spiciness on that back palate, but it's not unpleasant. It's warming. That's the best word I can use for it. It's like a warming, but that finish is still there. The pancake syrupy note that I got in the beginning, it's there, but it's very faint. It's not like pronounced like it was on the nose, like that warm maple syrup note. And it is a long finish. It's still going. Honestly, for these guys branching out like they did from their podcast into their first bourbons, into their ryes, the last batch was 7cc, was really good, both rye and bourbon. This one here, for the oak collection, it's really good. Man, that finish, that Kentucky Hug and finish is still going. This is actually very pleasant. The very first one, I wasn't like a fan of their very first bourbon they came out with. And then the 7cc came out, I was a little gun shy, but I heard a lot of good reviews on it. And I figured, why not? I'll pull the trigger. This one, if you like that clove nuttiness, maple syrupy, creamy mouthfeel, again, like I said, that spiciness still lingers. If that's your type of palate, I would say definitely pick a bottle up if you can see it. I know this is hits a lot in the South. Here in Michigan, of course, I had to order it through Bourbon Outfitters. But in the South, I saw a lot of pursuits where I got these 7cc's at Specs. All throughout Specs, they had a lot of them. So if you see it in a bar and it's a good like $15 pour, get yourself 2 fingers. I would say I prefer it neat. You can drop a cube of ice in it, but honestly, it's a pretty good damn whiskey, blended whiskey. I'm your host Brian. It's the Average Whiskey Drinker channel. Like I always say, find a whiskey, open the whiskey, enjoy the whiskey, because good whiskey is always meant to be shared. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.